Hi, everyone. I wanted to come here with the mayor of Adelanto, Gabriel Reyes, and start off the interview by telling us a little bit about
Yep.
yourself.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Super excited to be here. My name is Gabriel Reyes. I've been the mayor for the city of Adelanto since 2018. And, just a little bit about myself. First and foremost, I'm a full-blown entrepreneur. I love business. I love growth. I love empowerment. I love training, right? So when it comes to this world of real estate, it's grown on me, right? Especially since I've been mayor, because I've gotten to learn how it really makes an impact
Right.
in your local community, right? So if anything, I would just say there's a major passion,
Nice.
behind real estate, economic development, being a broker, developer, all that other type of stuff. So
Yeah.
thank you for having me.
Of course.
Super grateful to
Of
be here.
course. Yeah. Give us a little background about like where you're from, like different things like that, just about yourself.
Yeah. So born in East LA, right? Moved up to Chino, and then in '92, the family, my dad and mom bought a house in Adelanto. So I'm from Adelanto. I've been there since I was 5.
Nice.
Went to West Side, went to Georgia, was on the base, Shepherd, graduated from Silverado in 2005. And then, woke up and was just like, man, at the time, for the people who grew up here in the high desert, like we know, like in 2005, 2006, there really wasn't much.
Right.
Like if you think that there's nothing now, like there was nothing back then. So I made a crazy move and I moved out to Hawaii. I was fortunate enough to get involved in the hospitality industry out there in Hawaii. I met my wife in 2012 and got married in 2013 and was living life out there. Loved it. Never thought I would move. We would leave and then get a call from my mom in 2015 that my dad's not doing well. So then, I talk it over with my wife and we relocate back home in 2016, right? Get involved, launched my credit repair company, getting involved in the financial industry, like financial literacy, business lending,
Nice.
Stuff like that, personal lending, credit repair. And then in 2018, I can share with everyone, there was a lot of stuff. I don't like to speak on the negative or the past, but there's just a lot of things that you can Google what was going on in all of that.
Right.
Very, very unfortunate. And, God just said, get involved. And I ran for mayor. And he said, be mayor for 10 years in 2018. So ran. He opened up all the doors. And fast forward, I won in 2018. I re-ran in 22 and won. I had 4 people who ran against me in 22. And I was fortunate enough to have the support of the community where I captured 50% of all the votes.
Wow.
And, we have a great council. We got a great, camaraderie. It's kind of funny when I look at other city council meetings, then I look at our own. Like I've even done some self-reflection, like, maybe we got to pick up the business tip a little bit more, right? Because it's not that we all like each other, right? But it's just when you're in unison, right? Like when you have a group of people that are moving in the same direction or have the same ambitions or want the same thing,
right?
It's easy to have meetings with them, right?
Exactly.
Like you almost forget, like, no, this is a business meeting.
Yeah.
Like we can't be joking around.
Yeah.
Right?
A mutual respect.
It's a mutual respect. Exactly. Right. Yeah. So, but not just fortunate, grateful. We got a lot of great things going on in the city and in the region for sure.
Nice. Okay. That sounds all super, super exciting. You kind of touched a little bit on my second question, which was why you ran for mayor.
Yeah.
Was there something besides, obviously God telling you that this is what you should do that gave you that extra oomph to go for it? What did growing up here, was that ever something that you thought about that when you were 5 and you were in, growing up in Adelanto?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Right. There's so when I moved back home, right, in 2015, it was like I came up the hill, right, and I'm like, man, there's a new city called Oak Hills, right? We got new bridges, the Restaurant Row. There's a lot of stuff going on. I got off on 395, and I'm like, dang, all this is going on in Hesperia and Apple Valley and in Victorville, the new city Oak Hills. I'm like, and we got prison and weed in Adelanto. Like, what the heck is like? It was a frustrating point,
right?
But it wasn't like one of those things like that in that moment. Like, I'm gonna get involved in politics, right? Before that, I didn't really have a political like compass.
Okay.
I voted twice for Obama, and then like I voted for Trump, right? I'm like, oh, a businessman. Oh, like I really wasn't
exactly.
I didn't have that motive. Right. You know what I mean? To do it for politics. What happened was just, there were some crazy things that shouldn't happen in the city. That was very unfortunate.
Yeah.
that hurt our community. And it was one of those things, having my credit repair company with about like 35 employees at the time. It was one of those like, well, if I can create a business from scratch and make it successful, running a city shouldn't be that hard.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. Like, there's similarities, but there's drastic differences, right? But it was for sure the confirmation of God of like, hey, look, this is what you need to focus on. This is what you need. And this is what you got to do, right? So that was the biggest factor, was that. But looking back at my life, my wife and I were talking about it maybe like a year and a half ago, when we're reflecting on our dads, she was like, your dad's been grooming you for this, like, your whole life. Right. Looking back at baby pictures, and I'm in a 3-piece suit. You know what I mean? Like, just the things that my dad exposed me to. Wow. I was like, dang. Like, low key, like he really did, right? Because he did put me in a different mindset to look at life very differently. So when I come in and I look at things when it comes to the city, I don't look at it the same way. I'm like, okay, how can we make this better? Yeah. Right. I love to push the edge of like, okay, that's borderline crazy. Okay, so that's a good place to be. Yeah, exactly. Right. So because again, it's not just affecting me. We're dealing with the 40,000 people who live in the city. I'm one of them. Right. So I'm not afraid to take the risk, but at the same time, I'm not gonna do something that's gonna impact
exactly. That's a lot of negatively, absolutely. Okay, so if you were to just be having a conversation with a friend, and the friend lived down the hill, lived in LA, wherever, anywhere in the world, and then they were to say, I'm kind of thinking about moving to Adelanto. I'm kind of thinking about moving to your city. Okay. What would be some of the things that you would kind of say that you feel like would help impact his decision for him to want to move up here?
A lot, right? So, looking at on the business side of things and the investment side of things, our homes are still in the low to mid 400,000s.
Absolutely.
Right. I think the average median in the state of California is like almost 850,000. Yes. Right. So
a little higher in California.
California. Right. So it's still a favorable price point where it is affordable to be able to buy a home. Right. I would also say and kind of brag that, Adelanto was the #1 city for millennial families in San Bernardino and Riverside County.
That's a big
that
brag.
They were relocating to was Adelanto, right? Nice. And it's because even though it's probably like to most right now, it's unrealistic because of our society, but like the American dream was always to have and be a homeowner. Right. So it's still very much like 400,000, a 2-working household,
Yeah. And on the news, they talk about it a lot, that millennials and newer families that are starting out right now are basically not able to purchase a home during this time. And you're right. It's still affordable it's still possible to do up here.
It may not be. And I don't know. Right. So I don't want this to be, I'm just speaking from my, 5 cents. Maybe the rates aren't the best or this, that, and the third aren't the best, but you could always refinance.
Absolutely.
Right? Absolutely. It may not be, it may be 4 or 5% or 6%, whatever the case may be. But if the economy gets better, which it has to be, it has to get better. Yeah. Like, you could always refinance.
Absolutely.
Right?
And you already have your home and you're already building.
You're already building, right? So I would say that. And then I would say the biggest thing is all the jobs, all the economic development, all the things that are going on, not just in Adelanto, but the high desert. Okay. Right? Yeah. There's a lot of great things going on in our neighboring cities. In Adelanto, about a month ago, we just approved the project, 2.5 million square feet of industrial warehousing. Nice. Right? So for every million square feet, you're talking about 1,000 jobs. Nice. Right? So you're talking right there. And they gave us a projection on this job site. They said between 39 and 4,500 jobs for this 2.5, right? Yeah. And that's just one. We have another 600,000 that's going on for phase 2. So in the city of Adelanto, we have over 18 million square feet of industrial jobs just coming to the city. Nice. Right? So you'll be able to, the goal, right, is to live, work, play, and do business in your city.
Yeah, as somebody who moved up here from, Pasadena and having to still commute to go down to work for like the first 8 years that I lived up here. I lived in Victorville before Adelanto. And, it's a blessing to be able to live up here and work up here now. Like it is. So that's a huge, huge deal to stay off of that freeway every day.
That's the goal, right? The goal is to be able to provide that type of atmosphere for the region. Like we've broken I think, 500,000 people
Wow.
up here in the high desert, right? So bringing those jobs, and then looking at, like I said, learning the development side of things, being mayor now, is just like, there's, when you look at like SEO searches for like developers, there's like IE South, IE West, IE East, right? That was the Bloomington,
right,
push, all the Inland Empire stuff. Now there's only one way they got to go.
Yeah,
it's IE North, and that's up here in the high desert, right? Yeah. So the biggest push would be, it may not be the perfect time, but when you talk about equity into a home,
yes,
with all of this that we have in the pipeline with Brightline West,
right,
stopping in Apple Valley, the high-speed rail train that goes from so the goal is Vegas, stopping in at Del Evans off of the Highway 15 in Apple Valley, right? Then there's a commuter station for the people coming up right there off of Joshua and the Pilot, right? And then it goes, so from Apple Valley, it goes straight to Rancho Cucamonga, which connects to the Metrolink.
Nice.
So you're literally going to be able to get from LA to Vegas, and I think in a 2.5 hour window.
Nice.
Right? So with the stop in Apple Valley, that's 10-15 minutes for most people up here in the high desert.
Right.
That boom, right, that it's going to bring. That's going to be a major economic boom to the region. So what is that going to do for the value of homes? What's that going to do for, everything else that's going to be coming along the way?
And I'm glad that you even said that when you were talking about the equity, because I bought my house in Adelanto 8 years ago, and I bought my house for $242,000. And I'm sitting on 9,000 square feet. My house is 7 bedrooms, and my house now, if I was to sell it, it could be easily closer to $500,000,
if not more.
Yeah, and it's insane to me that how much of equity is built up here, and I don't think people really understand it or appreciate it as much as they absolutely should. So
absolutely, so those are the big things. Is just what's on the horizon.
Right.
You don't want to wait until it's here.
Absolutely.
Right. If you got to commute for a year and a half,
it's worth it.
It's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because in the long run, your legacy is going to benefit from it.
I agree 100%. Okay, so you're in politics currently, but if you were to think of yourself after politics, what's next for you?
God said 10 years mayor, right? So that's the biggest thing I'm gonna commit to is the 10 years. Then I'll revisit it and see what's in the horizon. I will say I do enjoy local government. I do enjoy local politics just because you're able to see the immediate impact on someone's life, right? Like it's small enough but big enough where the decisions that we make are positive decisions, right? Like the grand opening of the pool with the Adelanto Elementary School District, right? The jobs that we're bringing in, the road improvement, it's immediate, pleasure of positivity. So I won't say that this is the last phase that I'm in, but I enjoy, local politics, right? So I can see myself doing this for more than 10 years, but if not, honestly, I've grown a passion for development. I've grown a passion for the housing because I understand, I've learned to understand that it's economic development that stimulates your economy.
Absolutely.
Right? You got to bring the jobs. And then when the jobs comes, what's the next thing to come? The houses.
Right.
The houses brings the retail. The retail brings the commercial.
Yeah.
The commercial brings the entertainment.
Definitely a domino effect.
It's a domino effect, right? So where we are in Adelanto, we're bringing in all the jobs. So now it's okay, cool. We got a lot of jobs coming into the community. We just got our sixth approval of Sixth Amendment to our housing element approved with the state of California, right? And those are all the RENA numbers. And I think we're one of 5 cities in San Bernardino County that actually has an approved housing element.
Wow.
Right?
Nice.
So when you're up there with the Fontanas of the world, shout out to Aquanetta Warren, love you, right?
Yes.
When you're up there with those mayors that have turned Fontana over the last 10, 15 years.
I did a race down there in Fontana, and and met her, and it's Fontana has definitely turned a leaf.
And that was 10 to 15 years.
Right.
So it's just dang. Okay, maybe it is a little bit longer, right? Because with that housing element, it's gonna be a massive push. The state of California has asked us to build 5,500 homes in Adelanto.
Wow,
from affordable to transitional to workforce to fair market, right? So it's a push. It's a demand. Like we're gonna do it. Right. So that's 6,000 more homes that are gonna be built in our city, right? It's just, I don't know. I'm not looking, if anything, it'll probably stay in the arena of real estate or development or, stuff like that. Stuff like that.
Awesome. So we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Is there like any last words, thoughts, things that you just want to express about the culture of the high desert as a whole?
As a whole, we're growing, right? We're growing. It's a lot of great working families because it's small enough, but it's big enough, right? Where you still are able to enjoy a mellow lifestyle, right? What I love about the region is we're an hour and a half away from LA. We're 2 hours right now, 2.5 hours from Vegas, 2 hours from San Diego. Like you're able to go,
absolutely,
and experience different ways of life
with affordable housing.
Like you're not working just to pay your mortgage. You're not working just to pay your bills. You're able to still enjoy the quality of life. Right. And with all the things that we're bringing up here, with all the entertainment, with all the activities, right, over at the stadium in Adelanto, we have world-renowned artists that are coming on a regular basis for local entertainment. So you're still able to have a great time, right? So what I would say with the cultures of the high desert is if you're looking for somewhere, if you're looking for opportunity, it's up here. It's up here in the high desert. If you're looking for something different, if you're looking for anywhere to grow and be able to make your wildest dreams become your wildest dreams, I think the opportunity is here.
Awesome.
For sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming and just talking to me. I really want to thank you guys for joining us. And stay tuned for more interviews like this where we kind of just reach out to our local, politicians, and they kind of can tell us, what are some of the good things that are coming up here at the high desert. So, all right, until next time. See you guys later. All right, perfect.